Peace, everybody. Welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch, and today I'm going to talk about UFC 235, which is going down this Saturday, March 2nd. Now, this is a pretty decent card, which has two title fights and the debut of one of MMA's most enigmatic fighters, and who I'm referring to is Ben Askren. He's a two-company champ. He was a champ in Bellator. He was a champ in ONE UFC, and he is now making his UFC debut versus Robbie Lawler. Not going to talk too much about that one because the two title fights we have are definitely very interesting and have the potential to be really good, intriguing fights. And those two title fights are for the 170-pound title. We have Tyron Woodley defending against Kamaru Usman. And for the light heavyweight 205, we got John Jones defending against Anthony Smith. So I'm going to start with Woodley and Usman and then go to the light heavyweight title fight. So in this one, we've got two very good wrestlers who have decent striking facing off in one of the hottest divisions in the UFC, probably in all of mixed martial arts, because the Bellator 170 is really competitive as well. And you know, there are several guys in other fringe organizations that are really good that will probably shine in these organizations as well. I digress. Usman is one of those workhorse type fighters who will grind things out and make a fight dirty. And not dirty as in breaking the rules, but dirty as in not the clean aesthetic fight look that you want to see, where you see just two guys standing at a certain range throwing punches and kicks and occasionally going for takedowns. With Usman, he's going to do what he needs to do to get it done. If he needs to outstrike you, he's going to do it. If he needs to grind you up against the cage so he can get you down and just ground and pound you, he's going to do that. And if it takes him a while to figure out which one he's going to do, it's going to take him a while to figure out which one he's going to do. And while he's doing that, he's going to limit the other fighter's output because of the threat of what he can do. So that's a very interesting thing to think about when we're facing him against someone like Tyron Woodley, who doesn't do the exact same thing, but he does it similarly. Woodley likes to set traps in order to get his offense off. So we may see a lot of positioning battles going on in this fight because Woodley likes to circle the edge of the octagon to give him room to explode forward and land heavy shots on his opponents that cover distance really fast when someone usually thinks that they're not in distance to be hit. So Usman has to really be focused on that, because one mistake, one lapse in judgment, and he will be on the receiving end of a vicious Woodley right hand, something that most welterweights have not been able to withstand. Now, one of the things that I think Usman can do to at least keep the fight close is use that activity. When he can get Woodley on that cage, if he can approach him at an angle to smother that right hand, so he comes to his left, because Woodley likes to circle towards his right, so he cuts him off, creates that angle on that right hand side to kind of smother that right hand so he doesn't get that full blast extension on it. He may be able to get some activity in there to score some points, get some cage pressure, and possibly a takedown. Woodley hasn't been taken down in a while. And against Darren Till, he did show that he doesn't really have to get that great extension on that right hand either, which is what makes this fight so dangerous for Usman. We have seen him take a few shots. I think versus Emil Meck, he got dazed a little bit. but we haven't really seen him face too much adversity in the UFC. But Woodley's going to bring all of that adversity. So Woodley really just has to execute his game plan the way he's been doing it. It's been successful. He's beaten highly accomplished guys doing it. And he just has to do what he does well. He has to slow that fight down to a snail's pace, wait for Usman to make a mistake, spring on him and take him out. We see he can get a submission like he did against Darren Till. He can knock you clean out like he's done Lawler, like he dropped Till, like he did Koscheck, like so many other guys that have just been obliterated by his right hand. We will probably see that at least once or twice against Usman. I think he's going to land one or two good right hands, but Usman is going to be able to use his wrestling to weather that storm afterwards and be able to survive to a point where he can make it into the late rounds. Now, I think most of the odds makers, I'm not 100% sure how they work, but they have Woodley by decision. I think because of Kamaru Usman's stamina, I can agree with that. I don't think Usman's going to get tired. One of the knocks on Woodley is his stamina. So I think their plan is going to be to try to push Woodley as hard as possible to make him tired for those late rounds. But that's been everybody's game plan, and not too many people have made that work. So I think Woodley's stamina is a little underrated, and he's going to be able to keep Usman honest enough that he's going to win a decision. So let me know what you all think about that as well, and we're going to move on to that light heavyweight title fight. So with Anthony Smith and Jon Jones, we got two really big light heavyweights who are on a tear, whereas Jones has not fought as much as we would want him to, being the dominant fighter that he is, but he's had a lot of outside of the octagon issues that we're not really going to go into because they are well documented. And as much as we want to kind of quit Jon Jones because of him, he's just so damn good in that octagon that we just can't do it. When he shows up, we have to watch because we want to see the maturation of him as a fighter. We want to see him adapt, learn, get better, get more dominant. Or are we going to see somebody finally test him in Anthony Smith? I don't think so. I think that the skills of Jon Jones are going to be way too much for Smith. Smith has said that he's seen holes in Jon's game that he's going to be able to take advantage of him and his coach. The question is, can he take advantage of them enough to win a fight against him? There have been guys who have been able to play to some of Jon Jones's disadvantages for short stretches of time, like Daniel Cormier and Alexander Gustafsson, most notably. And that was only a temporary thing. Gustafsson had him, a little confused for maybe a round or two, maybe 2.5 rounds before he figured him out, beat him down the stretch, and then finished him emphatically in the second fight. Daniel Cormier, same thing. Daniel Cormier's pressure kept Jones on the back foot, but he was still taking those mental notes and able to beat him by decision and then finish him in the second fight. I don't think Smith is as good as either one of those guys. Excuse me. So, get my focus back on here. With Smith, he does have very decent power. He's knocked out a lot of fighters. He's actually got close to 50 MMA fights, which is crazy. He's got something like, I think this is going to be his 44th fight. Anyway, in all those fights combined, He hasn't faced anyone with the skill level of Jon Jones. And I think that's going to show this Saturday. I've got Jones inside of 3 rounds, finishing Smith, picking him apart, taking those mental notes. And it may be to a point where maybe like the first half of the first round kind of starts out slow. Maybe Smith is looking like he's taking the lead, but slowly but surely, you'll see Jones start to pick it up. He'll use that oblique kick that he is very, very fond of to slow Smith down. I haven't really seen anybody have a counter for those low leg kicks at all. That anyone that utilizes them uses them to deadly efficiency. Even when Yoel Romero and Robert Whittaker used them in their fight, both of them use it, still no counter for it. That is going to be very important because Smith is going to have to put some type of pressure on Jones. I don't think he's going to be able to beat him in space. But when he gets there, he's got to deal with Jones's elbows. He's got to deal with Jones's wrestling. And that's something that even someone as decorated as Daniel Cormier could not handle. Which is why I'm going with Jones. So you all let me know what you think. Drop down in the comments. Say, hey, I think Jones is going to win this way. I think Smith is going to cause the upset, and it's going to be because of this. Let me know what you think of Woodley-Usman. If you want to talk Ben Askren as well, we got the comment section. Hit us up on any social media platform at CapitalofCombat, and you'll see us very active on there as well. We haven't been putting out as many videos, but we're still on social media very heavy. So if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel but don't follow us on social media, make sure you do so, and vice versa. If you follow us on social media and not on YouTube, you gotta do both to get the full experience. So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon, hit us up on social media, and we'll see you guys in the recap of UFC 235. Until then, fight on.
Round 1 and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick ground, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.